Amidst the scorching heat of the Serengeti plains, a lone mother giraffe stood tall, shielding her fragile newborn, while 5 starving lions crept closer. Step by step, inch by inch. And then, at the razor's edge between life and death, something unthinkable happened. Could a creature, often seen as gentle and helpless, transform into a mighty warrior, driven purely by the love for her tiny, helpless child? Today, I'm going to tell you a true story. A story that left everyone who witnessed it speechless, their eyes glistening with tears, and forever changed the way we see motherhood in the wild. Join me on this journey, where dusty winds and unyielding determination came together to create a moment that will never be forgotten. The wind whipped the dust into a swirling haze. Across the sun-scorched clearing, a mother giraffe stood towering, her massive frame shielding her trembling newborn. All around them, 5 lionesses tightened their circle, their eyes cold as molten steel. They advanced, step by step, slow but relentless, like shadows of death. The air grew thick, heavy, as if even the earth itself was holding its breath. But the mother did not back down. Her eyes blazed with a strange, fierce light, a light born only when a living being is willing to sacrifice everything to protect what is most precious. Ahead of her, claws and fangs sharpened for the kill. Behind her, a tiny, trembling child, pressed tightly against her legs. There was no way back. Only courage remained, and a battle for life itself was quietly about to begin, where even the smallest misstep could bring it all to a sudden, devastating end. In a fleeting moment, the mother giraffe lowered her head, gently touching her nose to the forehead of her newborn, nestled tightly beneath her belly. A touch, swift as lightning, needing no words, as if she was pouring all her love and all her strength into her child. The wind rose again, whipping dust into a blinding mist. But the mother stood motionless, shielding her baby with every ounce of her being. Ahead of her, the 5 lionesses had crouched low, muscles taut, ready to spring forward like living arrows. The scorching sun beat down. The earth itself seemed to melt beneath their feet, and at the razor-thin line between life and death, only a silent, unbreakable love remained. But was that love enough to withstand the rising storm of predators ready to strike? Without warning, a lioness burst from the tall grass, her golden body tearing through the thick, heavy air. In the blink of an eye, she was upon them, claws raised high, like deadly blades ready to strike. The mother giraffe reacted instantly, swinging her body around and launching a lightning-fast kick with her front leg, just grazing the lioness's snarling muzzle. Dust exploded into the air. The wind screamed like a war drum. The kick missed, but the sheer force and fury of it made the predators hesitate, just for a heartbeat, before they regrouped, tightening their deadly circle even more. The message was clear. The mother would fight to the very end. But the lions, seasoned hunters, relentless and cruel, would not give up so easily. They had already begun weaving a more sinister plan, a plan aimed straight at the deepest, most vulnerable place in the mother's heart. The lions began to change their tactics. No longer charging head-on, they split into 2 flanks, circling like deadly shadows. One lioness, tossing her mane, lunged from the left, a feint to distract, while another crept in silently from behind, her eyes locked on the trembling calf. The mother giraffe whirled around, lowering her great neck to shield her baby. But in the chaos, The fragile newborn stumbled, just barely slipping out from under her protection. In a flash, one lioness sprang like a coiled spring, claws raised high, ready to strike. But before the blow could fall, the mother giraffe lunged forward, slamming the predator with the full force of her neck, toppling the attacker and pulling her baby back beneath her body. The low growls of the lions echoed across the field, not just sounds of anger, but a warning. The true nightmare was only just beginning. The air grew thick with the scent of blood and dust. No more circling. The lions charged all at once. One lioness slashed across the mother giraffe's hind leg, leaving a trail of dark crimson spilling down to her hoof. The mother roared, a harsh guttural cry, not just from the pain, but from the sacred fury of a protector awakened. Though her wounded leg faltered, she did not retreat. She crouched even lower, shielding her baby with every ounce of her strength. The calf trembled violently, pressing closer under his mother's shadow, his wide, terrified eyes glistening with fear. Blood dripped, drop by drop, onto the sun-scorched earth, but the fire burning in the mother's eyes only grew hotter, fiercer, and as the predators coiled for their final merciless strike, everything now hinged on a single, desperate moment of life and death. 3 lions lunged at once, like raging waves crashing down, ready to crush every last hope. The mother giraffe gathered all her weight, her bloodied strength sinking into her weary legs, then unleashed the mightiest kick of her life. The sound was horrifying. The crack of shattering bone echoed across the plains. One lioness was hurled backward, rolling and writhing in pain, while the other 2 hesitated, their eyes flashing with a mix of fear and doubt. The mother, her body drenched in blood, still stood firm, still shielded her baby, an unbreakable fortress against the storm. The wind howled across the scorched earth, carrying the scent of blood, the sting of dust, and something more. The quiet, indomitable power of a love that would never surrender. But could this fleeting victory be enough to hold on to life in the merciless wilds of the Serengeti? After the mother's terrifying kick, the lions finally fell back. They growled in frustration, their eyes flashing with rage and defeat, before they slowly disappeared into the tall, whispering grass. On the torn and battered battlefield, the mother giraffe wavered in the gusting wind, her legs stained deep red with blood. But she did not fall. Her newborn calf pressed tightly against her belly, his wide eyes still struggling to understand the life-and-death battle that had just passed. The mother lowered her head, gently licking his forehead, a tender, almost otherworldly gesture. After the storm. Then, slowly, the 2 of them moved away from the place that had nearly become their grave, their shadows stretching long across the sunburned grass under the last light of day. No trumpets blared. No victory songs were sung. Only the silent Serengeti bore witness. That today, love had conquered fate.